Yo, here. What's up, guys? Happy Friday. The big Friday slate is upon us. I'm excited. A little bit excited. I don't know. Excited is a weird word. But we love baseball. First of all, I feel so much better. You guys have been tracking. I went on this little fast a week ago, last Saturday. Pure water. And like, god dang, 3 and 4 was like, I hate life. Now I'm so much more clear-headed. And then we're switching from water to juice. And I just have energy. Yesterday was a crazy day. Not so much for just baseball, but in real life, dude. We had like a weird storm here. I took an old man day nap, and I woke up and like the town got ravaged by a quick thunderstorm. Roofs caving in, trees falling, 3 big branches fell on top of my Jeep. That was annoying. My big old butt out there in flip-flops dragging these giant tree arms out of my driveway so I can get out. That sucked. And then I'm out and about. This gas station's got $1.99 gas. I was like, I mean, that's not that big of it. That's 50 cents a gallon. I was like, whatever, I'll fall for it. I get in line, dude. I'm telling you, it's a 30-40 minute experience, and for the payoff was when it was my turn, the credit cards machines failed. They're like, it's only cash now. I was like, bro, I haven't carried. The only time I ever have cash on me is when I'm wrestling and promoter slips me an envelope. Otherwise, like, no. I was pretty furious. So yesterday kind of sucked. So I'm looking. Today's been so much better so far. And baseball is here to save it all. The Jeep, all right? Yeah, man, it's a little scratchy. That tree's been kind of dropping. And it's not even my tree. It comes out of my neighbor's yard, which I don't rattle any cages, man, but there's been a few times that tree has caused damage to my roof. We had an insurance claim, whatever, and now it's fallen on it fell half in their yard and then the other half in my yard. Can't help but notice they cleaned up their side, didn't touch my side. Also, I lost yesterday was trash day. I lost the trash can in the storm. I don't know where it went. Someone on this block has an extra trash can that belongs to me. So it's kind of crazy, but I don't even care. Whatever. It's not mine. But yeah, the neighbors, we don't speak the same language. I don't even know. Should I feel like they should be responsible to get the tree limbs out of my yard if it's their tree? You know what I mean? A lot of static. Let me check my mic. Here. Are we good now? I don't know. I might not have had it set up the right way, but that's just courtesy. Yeah. We good. Y'all can hear me, right? I don't know. Was it staticky and it's fixed now? I don't even know. Here. What up, Justin Sports? Nah, it's not even in my... It's literally in their yard and the tree branches just like go over my house. And I'm not, I really don't care. My car's fine for the most part. I'm not trying to... I'm like, come on, y'all. If y'all gonna clean up your side, come get this is your tree branches in my freaking yard. Come get them. I don't have no fence, nothing. Whatever. Good on my end. All right, cool. So I mean, I don't know. I just put it. I mean, what I'll do. The thing is, I wear flip flops all the time, so I gotta put some shoes on and go out there and actually drag the lumber, and I'll just put it on the side of the street, and one day the city will come pick it up. But I don't even know where they put theirs. It's gone. Whatever. What are you gonna do? What's up, Andy? What up, Dom? What up, Cujo? Chronic, Catelza, Justin, Sports, and Creasy. Hope everyone's doing all right. We get into this big old Friday slate. If you guys are new to the channel, new to the YouTube channel, or new to me, my name is Gunn. I'm the sole proprietor, the backbone of MLBGrind.com. And throughout the duration of this stream, I'll be tidying up the MLBGrind.com spreadsheet. And that'll spit out our projections and all that good stuff. We did a lot of work on the spreadsheet today. More stuff coming, but added, juiced up the bomb detector a little bit, added some home run probabilities and what the spreadsheet would consider fair odds for the home run, to kind of show some of our home run bettors they're getting gypped when they're out there making these Ohtani Judge parlays. And then, you know, the snowball turning into a avalanche for more of the promised prop betting stuff that is coming. So I'm excited for that. Today we'll go each game except one. There's a game that's about to start. We'll just completely skip that. So it gives us 14 games to research, and we'll try to come away with some information, some leans that could give us a DFS player pool, player prop pool, and whatnot. And I might also make a couple prize picks cards while we're on the air. I think I'm gonna throw $21 units at it again tonight. I love the big slates for prop betting. I do. So we'll have some fun, everyone. Hunkered down. If you guys already did some research as we go game by game here, you can let me know your thoughts on some stuff. It's the Phillies and Cubs we're not going to touch. And we'll go from there and get some lineups in. So today only, we've put a season pass special to basically it's 150. It gets you locked in for the rest of the year, and then it goes back up to normal. But I wanted a promo price. But the system, if I promo price the week or the month pass, it was going to be like, yeah, but you already have 10 of these month passers. I don't know. I didn't want to break it. So I was like, all right, we'll do the season pass for the price of like 3.5 months. And I think it's a good deal. If you guys want that, go over at MLBGrind.com, click premium memberships, and then boom. And then also, the monthly and weekly, a reminder, it is recurring. If you guys need to skip a week or whatever, just want to pause it, hit me up. There is no pressure. I do not care. Will not be offended. A couple of people have been wondering how to do that, and it's like, just tell me. I'll go in the system and stop it. And we'll go from there. All right. What's up, Quinn? Hope you're all right. Let's get into it. Game number 1. So there's 2 games on this, I'll call it middle slate for Fanduel and DraftKings. The first one being Orioles and Tigers. Orioles a 4.2 run total. Tigers a 4.5. Taiwan Walker is not the pitcher for the Orioles. I had Taiwan Walker this morning, I guess. He'll be up against Casey Mize. By the way, is the music good? It might be a little too loud, right? I'll put it down right there. Brandon Young, now the projected starter for the Orioles. So let's go look at Brandon Young information from MILB. See what we might get. Yeah, Tigers are sure. I keep sleeping. Like when I pull up Tigers, I'm like, oh, Tigers suck. Let me see who I can pitch against. And then when I look at the standings, I'm like, wait a minute. Tigers are good? Question mark. 16.1 innings this season in AAA for Brandon. 17 strikeouts, a 210 average allowed, and a sub-1 whip. So this year, decent. Last year in the minors, 111 innings, 132 strikeouts. That's good. $1.25 whip, not as good. Looks like a little bit on the 30 points higher average, and some more walks here. So far so good this season. Let's go to the sports book, see what we can get on a out projection, and we'll get this projected out for Brandon Young. Looks like we don't have an out projection for Young. All right, so we got to give him one. We got to make one up. Also, we got to put in a K prop. Let's go. So far, just a 16% K percentage in the majors with a 4% swinging strike rate on 4 innings. I think looking at his minor league body of work, we're gonna help him out here. I'm gonna bring it up to 20, and there's a good case for it to be more. Maybe we'll go 19. I'm gonna bring him up to 20, and then for walk rate, we'll put him at a fair 6%. So these are more just random number averages than anything. And then for Casey Mize, 19% K rate so far this season, 11% swing and strike rate. I've been on this soapbox for a minute, but he's part of the pool of pitchers I think will eventually be good, and maybe he'll start to find it a little bit more. So far this season, some respectable numbers: the 2.2 ERA, the sub-1 WHIP, and the 2.29 expected ERA. A little bit too much on the walks to lefties, and the power allowed to righties is a problem. But the righty power also feels like it could be a little bit unsustainable, considering it is a 43% ground ball rate, a 28% hard contact rate, and a 7% barrel rate. So usually that would be like $1.25, a 1.1 or something like that. I didn't open up some DraftKings tabs to look at quick reference games, but it's all right. We'll pull up his game log on Fangraphs. And plus, this is a game log. 2 homers, 1 homer the last 2 games. Look at plate discipline here. Swinging strike rate been in the double digits just about every game except the Minnesota game. I'll take that. The xFIP's been elevated in all 3 games, so that's a bit alarming. The BABIP's a little on the lucky side at 194 on the season, but a 90% LOB, so he's definitely walking a tightrope. And I'm not super ready to call him a success yet, but I do think one day it'll come. Let's open this. This in, and let's get this over here for the main slate later. Yep. So for his K projection, I'm gonna go 20%, and on the walk rate we'll go 7.5, and I don't think we have outs for him either, do we? That's a no. I'm gonna go 15. He's gone 5.26, 5.27. So I think we go 16.5 on Casey's outs. That's how we do that. As far as who we pick on here, so with Brandon Young, we don't have a ton to go off of. Like I said, I'm gonna put him at 5 innings to kind of just have a baseline number. We did add some the bullpen data, just loose bullpen data to the index portal. Remember, bullpen data is very volatile based on who is due to pitch and who would be coming out in a rough situation. But the Orioles bullpen has been kind of rough on the whip, hasn't been giving up a bunch of homers. The Tigers bullpen has been pretty solid. So I think if you're getting to this game, you're just kind of betting on talent here. With Mize, we do have more information to go off of, like the righty splits. This Orioles lineup likely to be pretty lefty heavy, so he might surprise people. He actually has a 28% K rate to lefty so far this season with a 111 average allowed, but the fly ball rate pretty high, but the hard contact rate pretty low. So he's kind of all over the place, is Casey Mize, and the Orioles have been all over the place as well. So how do we rank this one out? It is part of a 2-game set that's not going to be on this slate. But I think I'm gonna go Tigers, Orioles, Casey Mize. I don't quite know what to expect from Brandon Young, but on a 2-game slate, we did see strikeout potential in the minors. So it's all in play, 4 corners, but that's how I'm going to rank that out. And then we go on to the next game here in this early slate. And it's going to be the Mets and the Nationals. We do have a Mets confirmed lineup. It's going to be Frankie Lindor, Soto, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Vientos, Winker, Alvarez, Jeff McNeil. You're Jeff McNeely. And Tyrone Taylor as your confirmed lineup. So Jeff McNeil making his return. 5.6 run total for the Mets, 4.2 for the Nationals. We got a little bit of wind blowing out to the left field, 68 degrees. Jake Irvin pitching for the Nats. He's got a 23% K rate with a 5 expected ERA. The whip is pristine. He's not throwing a lot of balls. At least not a lot of balls to lefties. 10% walk rate to righties. He is striking out lefties at a higher clip. I'm not going to oversweat that because the lefties on the Mets don't strike out that much. Lindor, Soto, and Jeff McNeil all pretty good at making contact. So clearly with a 5.6 run total, Mets are in play. And also one thing that is pretty evident now with this tab on the index portal, the Nationals bullpen has been a problem. I believe that they have the highest ERA in all of baseball. With a 1.7 collective whip. Again, these numbers are just like surface level, kind of give you an example. We go look at that bullpen usage chart for the Washington Nationals, and you'll see this is a team that will give you quality opportunities when you're attacking hitters against them in the second half of the game. A lot of red here in the xFIP allowed, particularly to lefties. And righties, high xFIP overall, and then a couple of guys here: Finnegan, Jorge Lopez, Lucas Sims, Colin Poche, all elevated home run per nines, particularly to lefties as well. So could be a quality 9 innings for the road team Mets, and that 5.6 run total kind of backs them up there. Kota Sengai is your minus 185 favorite. This Nationals team doesn't strike out a lot, but on this 2-game slate, it's really just a matter of picking who doesn't die, who's going to get you positive points, hopefully in the double digits, and who might scoop a win. And I think Sengai seems like the most obvious out of the 4 here to kind of do that, even though the Nationals aren't my favorite matchup, a 20% K rate on since the beginning of last year against righties. But you're really not thinking about ceiling on the 2-gamer. When we get to the 12-gamer coming up, or is it 11-gamer, whatever it is, then we're going to be really trying to extrapolate ceiling out of all of our pitchers. But on this slate, you just kind of go and take a little bit of talent. And then, of course, no offense is off limits on this early slate. So we'll go Senga. Let's go put a projection in for both these guys. For Senga, I'm going to give him a 23% overall K rate. I do want to maybe hyper focus his lefty strikeout rate because this is going to be a lefty heavy lineup. So far just an 18% K rate to righties for Senga. Before this year, when his last healthy season was almost a 30%, so that might actually start to come up, but his lefty Ks have been there 27 and 28% in his last 2 full seasons body of work. So I think instead of putting this 23% K rate, I'm going to give him a little boost. I'm going to give him a 25%. And then Jake Irvin, we'll give him that 23 since it's a pretty even matchup. And then for Senga on walk rate, I'm going to give him meet in the middle between 5 and 10 or 5 and 11. We'll go 7.5. And then for Jake Irvin, I'm going to give him probably a 6.5. And then we go to our outs projected, 16.5 for Senga, 15.5. So 16.5, 15.5. So, I mean, he's not getting a ton of implied outs. So we're not going to give him anything towards the quality start, but that does fill out our projections. Also gives us a look at strikeouts for all the hitters or all the pitchers, and all of them are sitting around 5. So now that we got that going, let's go ahead and get this early pitcher projection up. for you psychos that might be playing that slate and have premium subscription at MLB Grind. And then we'll keep an eye on more information on Brandon Young as far as tonight goes. But that's what we got. So Senga, Mize, Young, Irvin. We've also added, I guess it's not on this tab. You'll see it on the main. I have to add it to this one, but we've also added projected hits allowed. And looking at this for hits allowed. I gotta fix that. That's not right. Yeah, I'll go back and fix that. Not now. Might have to hide that column on the other tab until I fix that later. Evan Walker's about to get shelled in 15 minutes. Yeah. Can't even hear the music. Oh, that's good because it's really loud and that's fine. It keeps me going. Soto goat. Also, we'll do a main or early stack rating. Get that posted. The Mets are going to be far and above, beyond everything else. I think while we're on that, man, a 6 stack rating. Kind of want to do a card for that while I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at I would just go 1 through 3 here. So what can we get on Lindor? Fantasy points. Guess I'll take the fantasy points on Lindor, Soto. I'll take the fantasy points on Soto. A little revenge game. Alonso. I'll definitely take the fantasy points on 6. And then Jake Irvin. Another thing I kind of like, it's not open right now. Oh, it is open. Sometimes, like if you're in the mood for a pitcher to give up a run in the first inning, but sometimes you get screwed and they have a stressful inning anyway. I think an alternative to like a first run inning, a run first inning, is if you go to the live tab on PrizePicks, you can just take the over on like the pitches thrown. So for instance, you go to Irvin, it'd probably be 15 to 16. If first inning pitches thrown at 16. And looking at this lineup, these walk rates, I kind of like that. And another thing is, I guess pitches thrown isn't like a super sharp market. So like if you look at like Underdog, now it isn't 1-to-1 because the odds are different, but I guess they don't have pitches thrown here. Oh, they have a 19.5 pitch count. Whereas PrizePicks on this one is 16. A lot of times PrizePicks, you'll see that 16, there could be a 4.5 pitch discrepancy. So you can kind of use that against PrizePicks. I definitely think Underdog's more sharp in that market. But I guess basically what I'm wondering is, do I go after the pitches thrown here instead of the runs? Because there's an awful lot of walks in the top of that lineup. He doesn't walk lefties much, but it does. It's indicative of them being patient. So I either want to take his pitches thrown here, or maybe we'll get his earned runs allowed. We could take it at 2.5, or we could probably get it down at 2.5 or 1.5. But that's probably not going to give us much to be had. Oh, 3. What? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Maybe we'll take it at 2.5. So 2.5 earnings. I think I'll take that. He's implied for 3.2. So I'll take that. And that's how we'll run card number 1. Trying 7x. $1. All right. Up J3. Want Dean? That would be fun. Dean might be live soon. All right, on to the main slate. Just kind of make a habit here. Actually, this isn't even really like working yet. But that'll help me long term. Shout out to Jake for that idea. All right, main slate. Blue Jays and the Yankees starting off in battle of the AL East. Yankees with a 4.9 run total. Blue Jays 4.3. Jose Berrios towing the slab in the boogie down Bronx with a sub 20% K rate on the season, a 13.1% barrel rate, and a 4.69 expected ERA. Let's go jump into some Jose Berrios numbers. I did, while I was tuning up the home run probabilities, man, they really like Aaron Judge today against Berrios. Berrios has had 2 games with respectable xFIPs, 3 games that you don't love. The almost 6 xFIP against Seattle, 5.3 against Boston, and then we look at his plate discipline, only 2 games where he was able to induce swings. So he's been really all over the place, and if we just trust the metrics on his body of work, really for the last 3 years, he's a beatable pitcher with a high expected ERA, high Sierra, in the last 2 years, a pretty low K rate, and then this year, a pretty high barrel rate. And has that barrel rate been pretty spread out each game? Yeah, 10%, 18%. Only one game he didn't even have a barrel, and that was against Washington. You remember, for the longest time, Washington only had 1 homer against righties, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, this is going to be a tough spot for Jose Berrios against a Yankees offense that has been clicking. And I think you look at the top of the lineup and get interested right away in Ben Rice and Aaron Judge. But with that said, Carlos Carrasco, I know the Yankees and some surface stats are flexing the Yankees ERA as the current starting 5. But come on, man. Cookie can't. The walls feel like they got to break eventually for Carlos Carrasco. We look at his game log so far this season, particularly the xFIPs, 5.8, 4.91, 4.97. The results are incredibly lucky. The 286 BABIP is actually not super lucky, but still some room for getting better. The whip is pretty crazy. But this column, the 1.8 ERA, that's not what you want. Or that's not something you expect. Everything else, very, very, very beatable. And I think for Cookie today, this Blue Jays offense can and will be a problem. So, and they're just not a strikeout team anyway. So there's just no way you're playing Carlos Carrasco in DFS, and you wouldn't be interested in his over prop. So this looks like an offense only game on both sides. It wouldn't stun me if 6,900 Jose Barrios shocked the world and, had a strikeout per inning through 6. It's just that kind of volatility. But I will not be trying to grab onto that. So we'll go offenses only, and I'm gonna go Yankees and then Blue Jays. Bullpen wise, Yankees bullpen has been slightly better than the Blue Jays bullpen in terms of overall ERA, and then the Blue Jays bullpen been overall more susceptible to the long ball. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the guys in this Yankees bullpen right now, particularly Fernando Cruz. This guy is nasty. So Fernando Cruz and Luke Weaver, even with Devin Williams' issues lately, these two, that's 2 innings gone from games in a close game. So I do like that as a fan, but it is going to be tough to stack against when those two guys are likely to get into an inning. Now, past that, if they get into some of these lesser arms, and then if you think Devin Williams is that guy, and he's had some rocky outings, but he doesn't get enough consistent opportunities, that could be 3 innings gone. So then it's like Mark Leiter, Ian Hamilton, Tim Hill, Ryan Yarbrough, the long reliever. If Carlos Carrasco gets smacked, that's probably who you would see today. So because of that, I had the Yankees over the Blue Jays as far as a 9-inning interest stack. Let me close that. And then go look at the Blue Jays. Blue Jays bullpen. Only one guy in the bullpen, or 2 guys. Brendan Little and Ryan Burr have kept lefties at bay in terms of homers. So that could be 9 innings of Ben Rice positivity. And then against righties, they've been a little bit better overall. We'll go from there. Some of these guys are not populating stats. I think that's just a translation error that I gotta build a workaround for. So let's go Yankees, Blue Jays. Judgy, no surprise at the top of the bomb detector. Over 3 home run per 9 so far for Barrios this season with that 13% barrel rate. Even if you get to last year numbers, a 1.3 home run per 9 to righties. Really susceptible to both sides of the plate. So the 2 guys you're going to really want to get into if you're interested in Yankees is Aaron Judge and Ben Rice. And you don't need me to tell you by now, probably, but if you've not been paying attention to Ben Rice, he is just a baseball savant, insane story. Look at that 100th percentile in hard hit. This guy is the GOAT at everything right now. And a lot of it is to do with Aaron Judge as his protection, but that's been an incredible 1-2 punch. So Barrios is in a spot in the first 2, and I do think that makes me like Barrios's probably pitch count over. So let's go ahead and build out a little Yankee card here. Let's go. Can we get something on Ben Rice? It's runs and RBIs at 3.5. We'll take a little bit of risk, but he's just been that guy. So we'll go Rice, and we'll get Judgy involved in this card as well. 2 hits, runs, RBIs. I'll probably take that. And then let's put it opposite Barrios. Barrios, we could take his earnings, or what I think we're going to do with this one is take Barrios's first inning pitches thrown, which is 16, which is fine. Trying to find Clement props. He saw a fly ball pull hitter. I don't think books will have him. Yeah, probably not. All right, let's go back. I don't want to run a three pick card. Do we want to go both sides of this one on the same card? Looking at the early bomb detector, Vladdy was up there. I had him at 16% probability to homer. We know Vladdy's been kind of tough this season. But I think he's looking a little bit better. And Santander's a freaking Yankee killer, no doubt about that. Let's see, Vladdy. I think Vladdy's been a little bit. His expected slug is lower than you want it, but the hard hit is there. Are we just going on the ground still? Straight ground ball rate, 23%, not too crazy. Full airs at 10%, that's a problem. But that's not like too different. It's a little different, but not insanely different than his career. Ground balls. Couple doubles. All right, I think Vladdy and Santander are the guys I want. If we just go ahead and make a 5 pick, unless we take cookies over. Go hits, run, RBI. That's a 26x for. I guess it's because of this. Ben Rice hits, runs, RBIs. I like the runs and the hits. That could just be 2 if he doesn't homer. If he does homer, it's 3, right? I just gotta deal with Judge. Is there something else on Ben Rice that might soften the blow here? We don't get fantasy points on him. So that's the risk. We're kind of banking on him to have 2 hits, 2 runs, or driving the top of the bottom of the lineup. But I'm okay with that. We're just risk it for the biscuit. All right, card number 2. Dang, dude, I just got some crazy news via text message. I'm gonna have to keep it together. Dang. Ooh, that was big. Yeah, James Wood did finally pull one, and it was crazy. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's offense, and I agree. Yarbrough, former Blue Jay, great in trouble as well. God dang, dude. Dang, dude. Oh, that breaks my heart. Somebody very close to me, family member, just got some crazy news. And I don't know, I just went to check my phone and my mom sent me a text message, so give me a second. We're getting it together. Let's put our pitcher projections here. Whew. Barrios, we're gonna go with 20% K rate and an 8% walk rate. Cookie, give him a 17% and a 7.5. And we'll go 15.5. They're giving Cookie a little bit of over, so I'll give him 15. Be nice to my mom. Yeah, it's not my mom, but that'll give us our projections on the starters here. Again, no interest at all on either starter, and we're fired up on the offense. Let's get into the next game. Guardians and Red Sox. I got a little bit of yellow on my screen. Has anybody heard about weather here while I put some runs? We'll go 4.6 run total for the Red Sox, Guardians also at 4.6. Ben Lively taking on Tanner Hawk. Let's go check out Mr. Roth on Twitter. Mr. Roth has Boston and Cleveland orange yellow. A meteorologist friend of mine in Cleveland warned me yesterday that this would be ugly, and yep, it's ugly. Best case here is that a line of storms moves through around game time, and they manage to play through off and on lighter rain behind that. Worst case scenario is that rain behind the line is too heavy and the game is a wash. We'll need a pregame radar check. All right, so go ahead and bust a orange on that, and let's put a big potential big weather risk via Roth, and then we'll also link to Mr. Roth's work. Yep. So that's not what you want. Well, Tanner Hawk and Ben Lively, you're clearly not interested in pitching either of them right now, but it certainly would open up both offenses. So this weather situation is kind of important. Hopefully, with this being a 7:10 p.m., like one of the first games on lock, they would just call it with time to spare. But if it did run out as is, I'm going Red Sox and Guardians. I'm gonna like not run a card on it. And then we'll do pitcher projections just to have them. You know, we don't want zeros in there. But like again, luckily we're just not interested in playing these pitchers in sunshine. So it was 17.8% Hawk and Lively. And walk rate, we'll go 9% on Hawk. Then we'll go 8%. And then I wonder if there's a board on that. Probably not, huh? Yeah, no. I'll just put 15 for them both. They both kind of suck anyway. No card on that one. We'll skip it. Angels and Twins. Angels have a 3.4 run total, one of the lowest on the board after being one of the highest on the board collectively the last couple of days. In the mid 50s down there in Minnesota. I guess this little heat wave the country was working on the end of last week, and all the wind kind of subsided for a little bit. One thing I did learn today about the Angels is that bullpen sucks. So the Twins might get 8 quality innings of at-bats here. And here's our matchup. So we got Kyle Hendricks, the soft tossing righty with no velocity, in his 13% K rate, taking on Pablo Lopez, who only has a 21% K rate so far this season, has been struggling to strike out lefties. The Angels usually come out much more righty heavy than lefties, with Rengifo and Shanuel as the projected lefties in that lineup. So we'll see if that confirmed lineup will change things. But because of that, I'll be able to boost his K rate this season with a little bit more confidence based on his righty splits. So let's go Hendricks at a 13% K rate. And for Pablo, I'm going to go 22.5. A little bit of a increasement on this season, giving him a little bit of benefit of doubt from last year. And he probably has some room to grow in his strikeouts against lefties anyway. So that's that. Ground ball rate for Pablo, pretty good last 3 years, about a high 40s ground ball rate. This year over 50%. Contact to righties, hard contact to righties has been really, really low, and he has really, really reduced his barrel rate. So I'm a little bit intrigued at this reduction in numbers. So I'm gonna take a second to go look at that and see if there's something. His overall stats aren't that crazy different from last year. Let's go look at these pitch types. Looks like he has been throwing the four-seamer a lot more progressively the last 3 years really, which has come at the curveballs decreasement. And the expected slug on that fastball is 382, so pretty respectable for a pitch with that much usage. The 290 expected WOBA, you like that. Whiff rate, not that crazy. Getting the whiffs here on all the literally all the secondary pitches, so you like to see that. The expected slug on that changeup is not great. Last year it was 349, so far it's at 688, so that could be a problem if he doesn't tighten that up. I'm not seeing a big difference between any of those pitches. I guess this changeup, this is kind of weird, where the fastball this year is at 94.9, it was at 95, so essentially the exact same, but the changeup velocity this year is at 87.2, and last year was at 88.5, so he somehow his fastball is the same velo, but he's lost a mile on his changeup, and I think that might be the biggest difference that we might point at for the expected slug. I guess we could also look at like break and stuff, but interesting. We don't have to split the atom here though, because we are interested in Pablo against that lineup with a near 25% aggregate strikeout rate. So I am going to put Pablo as the first pitcher we're interested in. And then this Twins offense obviously has to crack our interest. Hendricks has been serving more homers to righties over the last 3 years. And like I said, just because he doesn't miss bats and he sucks doesn't necessarily mean everyone can hit bombs off of an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, but they can hit the fastball and put the ball in play, especially these high barrel rate guys. So I expect a good grade for Byron Buxton and Julian. And these are two guys that, particularly Buxton, that if you can neutralize that strikeout rate, which is at 28%, you can tap into his high barrel rate and his high ISO, that 250 ISO against righties and the 818 OPS. So good spot for Buxton. And then this Angels bullpen is right up there with the Nationals in terms of suckage. I believe they got to be bottom. They're definitely bottom 5, but they might be bottom 2, and they're not 2. No, the Nationals are 2. But let's go relievers. Actually, they're 5th. 5th in bullpen ERA. By the way, the Cubs, Milwaukee, Phillies, and Nationals have been worse. But basically what I'm saying is this bullpen as the road team, as the dog team, as a severe dog team, we're looking at minus 214 favorites for the Twins. They might get some BP in the later innings. So the Twins look really, really good here as a stack. And we might get into a Twin stack on a PrizePicks card. But man, it's hard to trust any of the Twins. I think you just have to trust talent and order of lineup. We do like Keishel. He hasn't had enough big league at bats yet for it to like really register in the spreadsheet. But as a reminder, his minor league stuff looked really, really good. In his minor league career, almost a 300 average, 885 OPS with a 415 OBP. So that's really good. And I would keep him. I'd probably put him, Buxton. What's up, Larry? Appreciate that. Lopez through. Yeah, I did see that increase. What up, J. Cole? You're. Yeah, we might get into some Keishel. Man. I do. I want to get in some Twins here. But it's not fun to click a couple of these names. But Buxton and Keishel, they're two that I really want. But I don't like to run PrizePicks cards if I don't have at least 4. You know what I mean? 4 things to go with. And I don't want to have to take these. I don't know. Let's see. I also do want to pay off the research, though. And let's just do that. We'll give Keishel a little bit of love here. Hendricks. What do we do with Hendricks? Dude, they got first inning walks allowed? Nice. But that's not really a problem for Hendricks. It is to lefties. Pablo's not really a walker, so maybe he'd be a first inning pitches thrown, but I don't know. They don't even give you an option to go after Hendricks, Ernie. So, man, as much as I want to attack this spot, I really don't have a way to do it. Unless we take pitches thrown 15.5. The PrizePicks board for pitches thrown in the first, or the underdog, is at 19.5, but the under is 0.63x. I think I have to watch that for now. I might come back later and grab something on Keishel, but PrizePicks doesn't really give us much worth going after. You said Pablo has only thrown 60 pitches. That might be great information. On the 8th, he threw 78. Oh, but you mean in there? So on the 8th, and then he had a rehab start. I wonder what that means. Sometimes when a pitcher's done what he needs to do in rehab, they'll yank him and then like put him in the bullpen to throw some bullets. 4.2. Did he get in some trouble here? 3 hits, a walk. Just kind of have to let Vegas lead, I guess. They got him at under 16.5, so we'll go 16. But yeah, I think you're onto something with his pitch count as far as not getting too excited. I'll go 16 and then 15 for Hendricks. And then walk rates here. Call Hendricks. We'll give him a 8%. And Pablo, we'll give him a 5. Think the bullpen's victim of strength of schedule? That's not crazy. I mean, Kenley Jansen, he's good. Reed Detmers, we know, is a pure contact guy. He's actually generated a good result. XFIP is a problem. His home run per 9 is a problem, but I think we have enough history on him. There's a couple guys here that historically I know is plus, but there's a couple guys I don't really know who they are. Ryan Johnson, Garen McDaniel. So yeah, I definitely don't want to overweight bullpen metrics, but it is something to start tracking because some of these shootouts that are happening in the 7th, 8th inning and beyond, getting crazy. All right, nothing else we need to do with that game. Yeah. Thanks. It's a shame they don't give me nothing to really get behind. Let's move on to Astros and the Royals. Hayden Wesneski taking on Seth Lugo. Astros have a 4.2 run total. Royals have a 4. Wesneski been really good at generating strikeouts this season, almost a 28% K rate. Walk rate is pristine as well. A little bit elevated against lefties, but respectable. Does allow power, so it looks like he's somebody's attacking his zone, and he'll serve them. 47% hard contact rate to righties with a 23.5% line drive rate and a 44.1% line drive rate. So low average here. Let's go under the hood. And particularly first, let's go splits. I'm more interested in the splits here than the overall results. And let's look at his splits versus righties, particularly the batted ball data. Just a 6%. Sometimes when I see a high fly ball rate and a low average, I think, you know, their infield fly ball rate could be crazy. It's only 7%, which is good, but it's not like 15%. The BABIP to righties is 207. A 160 BABIP to lefties, that's kind of crazy. 32% K rate to righties. Man, this home run number feels somewhat random. And you know, BABIP doesn't consider homers, so the BABIP is like 207. It's definitely on the lucky side. Why the freak is he giving up bombs like that? Wesneski. And has he been consistently giving up bombs? 1, 3, yeah, he's allowed at least a homer in each game so far. 3 in that Angels game. He's allowed 2 homers on the 4-seamer and then 1 homer on everything but the changeup. With the expected slug on the sinker being 724, that's not normal. 971 on the curve. I mean, it's just like just maybe a couple of mistake pitches, and it's interesting. Last year, his sweeper was his #1 used pitch at 40%. This year, he's only using it at 25%. It looks like he's using the 4-seamer to get in ahead in counts, and then dips to the sweeper with that 37% whiff rate. Also, that sinker is a solid whiff rate this year versus last year. Last year was just a 12% whiff rate. This year's at 40%. And I'm not entirely sure why. More spin rate on the sinker this year. Just mixing his pitches a lot better this year than last year. He was pretty heavy sweeper, and this year he's throwing 3 pitches about the same: changeup, 4-seamer, and sinker. Maybe that's not all the way true. It's really 4-seamer then sweeper, but he has 5 pitches to go to. Sinker, I don't know. Sinker's just performing better. It has more spin for sure. I'm just trying to see if we can put some more drop, some more break on it. I guess the arm slot's a little bit different. All right. This Royals team doesn't strike out a lot, 18.8%. That's going to be like bottom 5 in baseball. So not a super high upside spot if we're trying to chase strikeouts, but it is a pretty good pitcher in a pretty good ballpark with pretty good pitching conditions, wind blowing in and temps in the 60s. So I do think we have to gather some interest in Wesneski, but taper our expectations. And I think an $8,200 price tag on DraftKings at least can soften the blow. And Wesneski's pitch count lately, 85, 93. So probably don't get too far over 90. 5 to 6 innings seems like a good expectation. and I do think the ballpark can help us out. But yeah, we're not likely to see a ton of strikeouts here. So tapered expectations, but I am somewhat interested. So we'll go Wesneski in the interest ranking. Seth Lugo, 17% K rate, $1.25 on the whip, 4.45 expected ERA. This lineup for the Astros can strike out. 4 guys have an aggregate 26% plus K rate. The rest of the lineup, not much. Like I said, Pitcher's Park, a lot of things going against an offensive game. So I don't think I'm going to be super intrigued by either full stack. Obviously, there's enough talent here to be cherry picking bats. Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, Salvi, Jordan. I mean, these are like matchup proof guys that can certainly fill out some lineups. But I think I'm not that intrigued in a front end full stack of either team here. So Wesneski was 7.1% meatball pitches and 10% this year. Some mistake, yeah, just some mistakes here. What up, Pinstripe? You K or Homer. Yep. He's a two true outcome. Oh yeah, the Cubs schedule has been so bad, and they're getting wins too. So like, they're real to me. I would like to. I mean, I guess we'll see if they're active at the trade deadline, but they certainly need a little help in the pen, a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm gonna take a little Wesneski here. We'll go. I'll give him his due averages. Which is, I'll go 25. A little bit of a tax from last year. And then Lugo, I'll give him a 18. A little boost for last year. Wesneski, his walk rate, let's go 6%. Lugo, go 8%. Got so many tabs open. 18 and 17 and a half. I got Lugo at the 18 outs. So they essentially imply, and with the implied run total, if you give Lugo 6 innings here, it's going to imply him for 2.8 earned runs. So essentially he's implied for a quality start based off of that. I don't love this spot for Lugo, and I don't feel particularly enthralled to play him. But I have to respect the numbers here, so I do have to give him some points towards a quality start. I'm gonna give him 1.5 out of a possible 4, just to show a little bit of respect, because it is on the under at 18.5, but it's still a line that is over 18. So I'll just leave him at 1.5. So just Wesneski. And I guess because we can't really push Wesneski 6, it seems more like a DK play. So let's do DK in parentheses. And let's move on. Brewers taking on the Cardinals. Brewers have a 3.9 run total. Cardinals 4.3. Chad Patrick, guy with 2 first names, 21.1 innings pitched, 23% carry, 1.31 on the whip, 3.84 expected ERA, overperforming his underlying metrics for sure. Just nothing here that I'm particularly excited about. Chad Patrick, MILB. I feel like I just need to make a Chad Patrick note. A couple of these guys I'm looking up every 5 days just to remind myself, but in his career, over a strikeout per inning, a high whip. Looking at last year, low average to both sides of the plate. Fly ball pitcher. 11 homers and 81, or excuse me, 3 homers and 63 innings to righties, 13 and 17 to lefties. So that's where it's a little unbalanced here. You want to see about 1 per 10. So at 71 innings, you're going to be looking for like 7 homers to be like, that's whatever. 13 is a little bit above. And then 21 walks to boot. So we want to pick on him. Ironically, he hasn't allowed a homer to lefty at the major league level, but has to righties. Lars Nootbaar, he's been as hot as anyone for this Cardinals team, would be kind of the guy that stands out. Liberatore is on the bump for the Cardinals, a 24% K rate for him, 11.5% swing and strike rate. Good numbers there. The 1 whip, really, really good walk numbers. 0% walk rate to righties. Wow. After a 10% the last 2 years, that's incredible. Is he due for regression? Maybe. 8% walk rate to lefties. Let's go. This Brewers team can strike out. Since the beginning of last year, this projected lineup, 22.4% K rate to lefties. There is some positive bats here. Yelich, Contreras, and Hoskins as far as WRC plus against lefties. But I kind of think, letting the numbers tell it, Liberatore may be in the player pool. Angels, Pittsburgh, Philly, Mets. I mean, almost a 30 bomb against Philly. But you see it's in the range of outcomes. And then muscling almost 20 against the Mets. It's easier said than done. And the pitch count stretched to 100. So I actually do think Liberatore gets into the player pool here. Not going to play Chad Patrick. And because, I don't know, the run totals in this park in Busch Stadium, they really just jump out at you. Brewers bullpen has been rough. Actually, Cardinals bullpen has been rough as well. Maybe you get into some substacks here. Like if you throw me a Churio, Yelich, Contreras, Hoskins, I mean, those are 4 very capable bats. And then Cardinals, could you get to 4? Nootbaar, obviously. I guess you get a little narrative with the brothers going at it. Donovan. It's harder to get to 4 on the cards, but I think we can go Brewers Substack. I think I'm gonna leave the cards at 1-offs, but that's strictly in the context of it's a massive slate. We got Coors coming up. We got the Athletics game. Like, how often are we gonna generate a Cardinals team that explodes, out of 4 or 5 players to do that? So I think I leave the Cardinals at 1-offs, and we could get to three Brewers, but more interested in the other pitcher. Let's go Chad Patrick. Let's give him that 23% K rate. Liberatore, I'm gonna give him that 24. He's earned it. Walk rate here, 9.5 for Patrick. Patrick, are you walking batters? Yes. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. That's stupid. 6% walk rate for Liberatore. That 10 to 0% is kind of crazy. 17.5 and 15. So Patrick's gonna get 15 outs, 17.5 for Liberatore. And for Liberatore, we've got a little steam money over, just a little bit. So I'm gonna give him 1 point towards the QS. We'll move on from that. What's up, Ken? Did I like Wesneski? Yeah, I got him in the pool. Likes the strong word, but yes. Liberatore's throwing sliders more to lefties. Yeah. That's me on MLB The Show. Chris Sale versus lefty. You're getting a slider down and away. I don't really have anything on a card that I want to fill out for that. This one we might get crazy. Reds and the Rockies out there in Coors. 5 run total for the Reds. 4.7 for the Rockies. Man, what's the deal with Matt McClain? Why do I never get? Is it because of the righty split? It is. I guess I just don't have a ton of Matt McLean versus lefties to. I think 30 was the minimum. I have to fix that. 5-run total for the Reds, 4.7 for the Rockies. We got Andrew Abbott. Hey, Abbott taking on Kyle Freeland. Abbott coming off a frustrating great game where I was heavily invested in the Baltimore Orioles. Stop me if you heard that one before. 11 strikeouts against the Orioles after racking up 5 against Pittsburgh, 1 per inning. 2 games. Do we trust it? I don't. The last 2 years being almost a 4 expected ERA, a 9+% barrel rate. The barrel rate's actually been pretty high so far this season. I guess what we could do is just to see if there's anything different, but I think he just I don't know. The freaking Orioles, man, they keep allowing these random great games, especially to opposing lefties, but expected slug 421, similar to last year. The changeup has been much better. Sweeper. Just missing way more on the four seamers so far than he was last year. And then that changeup added, so he's added like 25% whiff on these 2 pitches. And because there's only 2 games of sample size, don't really know if I'm gonna buy it or not. It's the arm angle's gone up 5 degrees. There's like small tweaks. But I think no matter what, we're only working on 2 games of sample size. So I don't think I'd be walking away with a definitive answer anyway. And even if he goes out there and gets blown up today, it's Coors, you know. Plate discipline. Let's go game log, plate discipline. Yeah, he only had a 5% swinging strike rate before that Baltimore game, so I'm gonna go a little outlier-ish with a 33% first pitch strike. What? Huh? How's that even possible? Dude, Baltimore is just, they hate me. They knew I had money on them. I'm gonna project some regression. But it's the Rockies. Boys at the Rockies. So we're just gonna let the run totals tell it. First of all, we know we're gonna be interested in the Reds. I don't know what to do with Abbott versus the Rockies, to be honest. Like both ways. What's up, Travis? Was able to fit Gilbert and Yamamoto in singularity without playing a 5-man, but in my MMA 5-man, it's hard to fit that pairing. Do you have a favorite SP2 that's sub 9K? I haven't really gone through everyone yet. What we have gone through so far, I jotted down Wisniewski and Pablo. I like Pablo's matchup. There might be a asterisk on his pitch count. What did he miss? Like 2 starts, I guess, but he also started once in the minors, so I don't know. He might have some bubble wrap on him, but he's sub 9K, and so is Wisniewski. So far, those are the 2. And I guess what Liberatore made the cut for me as well. So those are 3 guys I would mix and match so far. We're still working here. right, so I think I can't overreact to one game that has the best stats of his life after a 33% first pitch strike. So we're going to go Reds, then Rockies, and I'm not going to pitch Freeland, not going to pitch Abbott. Freeland, to his credit, hasn't allowed a homer to a righty yet. 60% ground ball rate. How many of those games have been in Coors? Dude, the Nats, dude, they don't hit bombs. They only went 2 innings there. Then 6.1 against Milwaukee. So most of his games have been on the road anyway. So I'm not going to overthink Coors here. We're just going to go Reds and Rockies and kind of go from there. And then what Reds look the best? Well, Ellie De La Cruz, obviously, always at the top. And then both bullpens have been pretty atrocious overall. And both bullpens have been on the plus side for hitters on whip and home runs allowed. So you're just kind of just stacking the park, stacking 2 teams against average at best pitchers, but likely below average at best on both sides. And then dipping into bullpens that are gettable. I know with the Rockies, it's not fun. They have made some changes lately. I think I kind of like this team with the lefties more against righties. But there's still some guys in here I would get to in this ballpark anyway. I think we go like Brenton Doyle, Talia, Ryan McMahon, like you just play. You don't overthink it. You just let the blender do it, you know? All right, let's go put some type of projection here for Abbott. I'm going to give him a 21% K rate. And for Freeland, I'm going to give him the 17. That's what he's been doing. Walk rate for Abbott, I'm going to go 7. Freeland, I'm going to go 4%. I think Windsor Trevino starts. I don't have a lean on that. What up, RC? Orioles suck. Yeah, Jay, you see that 33% first pitch strike? I mean, what? Like, what are we doing? Let's go Freeland at 16.5 outs. I don't know what to throw on Abbott, but I guess. Why don't they have a line on Abbott? It's 93. Guess I'll give him 50. I'll give him 16.5 as well. Sure, whatever. What up, Heath? Hope you're doing all right. Do we want to throw a card together for Reds? Reds are kind of also kind of like the Twins, where you kind of vomit clicking after a while. Maybe after an actual lineup comes out, it's really you just start with Ellie De La Cruz and like, okay, now what? And you just get lucky, and then you get that Spencer Steer home run, and yeah, I don't know. I don't have a warm and fuzzy there. So let's move on. We're actually doing incredible time, I think, for the amount of games. Rays at the Padres. Chandler Simpson may not lead off here. I'm not sure what that lineup's going to look like. Surprised we don't have more confirmed lineup. Shane Baz taking on Michael King. The Rays have a 3.3 run total. Padres 3.9. Yeah, both pitchers good. 33, almost a 34% K rate for Shane Baz. 12% swing and strike rate. 107 on the whip. We pull up Mr. Baz. And show you the increase in velocity this year on his fastball, almost at 97. Last year was 95.5. Using the curveball a little bit more, which has a 35% whiff rate for him. The changeup, also using it more, and those were his least 2 used pitches last year. So he's kind of traded this or sent the slider down a little bit for using those pitches a little bit more. And the slider hasn't been his best pitch anyway. So overall good for him. I think we're definitely getting to interest here. But I think we're gonna have interest on both sides. And one thing I think that's gonna be the tiebreaker is matchup. Michael King likely will have the better strikeout matchup than the Padres. But obviously with these run totals, the park, and the talent versus the rest of the pitching pool, you're still gonna be interested in both sides. But I think if we go Michael King 1 and then Shane Baz, this projected lineup for the Rays, a 23% aggregate K rate. We look at the league, I think they were top 3 in overall K rates versus righties. I think I remember seeing that this morning. They're top 5. So only the Rockies, the Braves, the Angels, and the Guardians. The Guardians, number 1 in Ks versus righties. If you would have told me that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd have been like, all right, get off, stay off the weed. But that's crazy. But the Rays certainly are one of those teams that could throw out a different lineup every day. So this lineup may get that much better or that much worse in strikeout rates, but this is what we got for now. So give me King first, then Shane Baz, and then trying to pick on the weaknesses here. So far, King has allowed some homers to lefties. Shane Baz has allowed some homers to righties. He is pitching, or has been pitching, in a single A bandbox down there. We might look at the expected home runs by park. So 3 homers so far on the season, would be 3 in San Diego. So can't really give him too much of a break there. So Fernando Tatis, obviously the first guy I would look at. Maybe Machado. Those are the 2. So kind of like the Cardinals game. Some talent here for sure. And then you're just kind of betting on talent. With Chandler Simpson, you guys know the deal. He's probably the fastest man in the league. If you're looking for some just like cheap value and you're in your late swap and Chandler is leading off right now, I don't have him leading off, or I had him leading him off when I transferred lineups last night. And he has led off in some spots, but he's also not led off. If he is in a leadoff spot, that's 5 chances to accidentally get on. He's gonna steal, and especially in a tight game. So he could be a cheap stolen base towards the end of the night, but you just kind of have to keep an eye on that. Ellie Delayer, yeah, Ellie's crazy with it, dude. I'm gonna get you out of there. We got to rescue him. Let's get a pitcher projection here for the Baz. We'll give him that. We'll give him 30. Michael King, we'll give him 27. No extreme splits for King, right? He's been actually striking out righties less, which is not going to change my number here because the Rays will definitely come out split. Walk rate for King, 8 and 9. Go outs. King is pretty heavily implied for the 18, so I'm gonna give him 18. I'm gonna leave Shane at the 17.5. I'm gonna give King 2 points towards our QS. I'm gonna throw Shane 1. Kind of go from there. What about Trent Grisham this year? What a good surprise. We'll see if it's sustainable. The Yankees have this weird history with guys randomly being good for them for a little while and then stopping. Matt Carpenter is somebody that comes to mind. His metrics were almost as dumb right now, maybe dumber than Trent Grisham. I'll take it. But it's hard to say it's real. I feel like it's real, but whatever. We will take it. He's definitely been a surprise this year. Best part of the Juan Soto trade with Michael King. Speaking of the devil. All right, let's move on here. Marlins at the Mariners. Cal Quantrill taking on Logan Gilbert. Marlins with the lowest run total so far, 2.9. Mariners 4.8. That puts them at minus 277 odds on the money line to win this game, which is huge for Gilbert. Gilbert, a 38% K rate on the season in 27 innings, has been mowing down both sides of the plate, but especially righties this year. 47% K rate to righties is actually, like, that feels unsustainable crazy. That's pretty wild. What's his strength of schedule looking like? Toronto, 9 Ks against Toronto. I mean, that's easier said than done. Pulled away 7 or more strikeouts in every game so far. Athletics, Detroit, Houston, couple of scrappy teams in there, so go for him. And on top of that, he's a heavy ground ball guy, 50+% ground ball rate to lefties, 48% aggregate the last 3 years to righties. So does have a little bit of a home run bug to lefties when you look at his overall or his splits from the last 3 years. Who on the Marlins you expect to tap into that? Maybe Jesus Sanchez. That's all I got. So yeah, this is a massive spot for Logan Gilbert. Likely is the ace of the slate pre-flop in ownership. Take that as you will. And with the Marlins having just a 2.9 implied run total, you could probably see him implied for 7 innings today. With Cal Quantrill, not good. I don't know why this whip is showing green. Let's fix that. Everything about Quantrill's bad, and backing him up in this Marlins bullpen is also bad. 4.3 bullpen ERA, almost a 1.5 whip, 1.17 homer per 9. And keep in mind, their home park is pitcher friendly. Not that T-Mobile is going to be a big boost here, but this is a good spot for this Mariners lineup. And the number one issue with this Mariners lineup is this column right here. They strike out so much. Aggregate 25% K rate so far, since the beginning of last year. And you look at their big guys, their 29% K rate on Polanco, the 25% on J-Rod. I didn't even think Polanco was striking out like that. That actually surprised me. Rally at 29%, Arozarena. If you neutralize all these numbers, you get into the green on the WRC plus, the green on the ISO, and that's exactly what Quantrill's likely to do. A 10% K rate overall this season, 14% to righties, 5% to lefties. Might get back up to the 16% to lefties, but that's still really, really bad. He does have a ground ball rate to lefties that can stifle some hitters out of the box, but man, that walk rate is nuts. And Jorge Polanco, even with the strikeouts, the same with Raleigh, both walk a lot. So I do like looking here for a card. We haven't got to a PrizePicks card in a while, but before I do that, Mariners absolutely make the interest ranking here. Let's fill out the pitcher projection. And for Quantrill, we'll go, I'll give him an 11%. I'm giving him a couple of percent. And then for Logan, I'm gonna give him a 32. I'm taxing him a little bit, but that's still gonna like go crazy. The walk rate on Quantrill is pretty crazy, but it's a lot to lefties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 lefties. So we'll give him that 11% walk rate then. I hit the button again. Sorry. At least I wasn't talking about homie from the Athletics. Walk rate, right? Yep, 5%. So we'll go 5% for Logan. We'll pull out some 18.5. There's some juice on the other. I'll give him 18 flat, and then I'll go 14 for Quantrill. And then I'm gonna give Gilbert probably 3 towards a QS. 3 of a possible 4. My fire alarm. He's messing with his arm slot. Nice. Grisham was like fine, and he was like, he let off for the Padres here and there. Like he was fine, average, more defense than offense. What we're getting right now has not been in the cards, I don't think. So, what up, Tone? Hope you've been all right. But yeah, I want some action on this game for PrizePicks, even though we don't have a card net. Well, I do want to start with Quantrill pitch count, 16.5. I'll go with the over there. And then we'll go some Mariners numbers to pull it back. So I guess we'll just have to go one by one here. Julio Rodriguez. I'll take his fantasy prop probably. Polanco. 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. I'll probably take that same thing for Rally. They don't give us anything for Rally here, do they? 3.5 is the lowest we can get, so a 2-run shot. Might be getting taxed there, but I'll take it. I'll take the 3.5. This seems like a bad click. Whatever, let's do it. Do we onslaught it here? Anything else we want from the Mariners side? A Rosarena fantasy points. He can steal bases. Do they give us that? 6.5. Yes. Come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, we'll go that as our Mariners stack. All right, cool. Mariners, love them a lot. Marlins, not so much. Gilbert, yes. Quantrill, no. What up, Keg? Hope you've been all right, brother. Hope you had a fun draft. I know all you kids love your NFL drafts. I know one name, and the name that I know wasn't drafted. So, yeah. Braves and the D-backs. Braves have a 4.6 run total. D-backs 4.1. For sale, 29% K rate on the season. This is a tough spot for him. D-backs have been just so good. Just really good. And they've actually ran into some good pitchers lately. Drew Rasmussen, Taj Bradley. Like, they're for real. And Chris Sale certainly has had maybe the toughest strength of schedule in all of baseball. Off the top of my head, maybe not. They started off rough. San Diego, Dodgers, and Phillies, but hasn't got through 6 innings all season. Just can't keep it all together. Either he's got a little walk problem or he's got a little hit problem. I do think because he has that 30% on the K rate, you got to keep him in mind. But I don't know that he's going to be the top option for me here. Let's go check out roof info for this game. Looks like they're going to have an open roof out there. So we'll put that in the game notes. Chase Field roof projected open. And you guys know that Arizona air helps out the offenses a little bit more. Neutralize that evil humidor. And then Zach Gallen on a bump here for the D-backs. A 24% K rate so far for him this season, 1.43 whip. A lot of that built on the elevated walk rate, 9% to righties, 11.9% to lefties. Also, a 310 average to lefties. That's a little bit elevated versus his last 2 seasons. So, likely a little bit of unluckiness there. We'll go to his game log. Man, the xFIPs actually are not on his side, so it may be a little bit more than luck. Hard contact through the roof. I say I'll go to splits, but it almost doesn't matter. Let's go look at his under the hood stuff here. Could be some issues. Expected slug on his 4-seamers at 600. Last year it's 463. Expected slug on his knuckle curve is going up. Changeup is about the same. Three homers on that fastball. 2 on the knuckle curve. 303 expected batting average. So just mentioned that it felt like his numbers could mean he's a little unlucky, but maybe he's not. So let's look at his splits. Look at his BABIP, 375. All right. 375, a little unsustainable. 176 to righties as well. So where he's lucky on one side and unlucky on the other, it kind of washes off, right? All right. We got two household name talent pitchers with some problems. The Sale problem being the matchup. Expected ERA is almost 4. And Gallen being like he's not generating the same results as last year and increases barrel rate and his homers allowed. This draft is cheeks, yeah. What's up, Anthony? What teams today you think put up a lot of runs? I just kind of fell in love with the Mariners. Obviously, Coors exist. I feel like that Yankee Stadium game could get crazy, but I also feel like the Yankees bullpen could have 3 guys that take 3 innings off the game if it stays close. That being Cruz, Weaver, and hopefully Devin Williams. Jury's out. But the Mariners, I don't know. The Mariners are kind of like my why can't I quit you? The Arizona bullpen's burnt. Yeah, they've been juicing. Ryan Nelson went 54 pitches yesterday, so he's off the table. Likely, I guess it's not impossible for Firestone, but likely no Firestone. So yeah, this is definitely Shelby Miller. He blew a save. I think, how many blown saves do they have? They have 4 blown saves. So do the Braves, by the way. So, man, both these starters might put up a strong 4 or 5, and then it collapses anyway. Man, this game could go a lot of different ways. All right, let's start putting a pitcher projection out there. Let's just go with it. Gallen, we're gonna go 24. Go 5% walk rate on Sale. Gallen will go 10. Let's see what the books have on us for outs. 17.5, 17.5. I don't even know if I can give either points towards a QS. We haven't really seen 7 or 6 innings as a. I guess Gallen's hit 6 innings in 3 games. 3 was the last 4. But maybe he shouldn't have hit 6 innings. Jeez. I mean, that is kind of a tough schedule, depending on what version of Baltimore you get. Yeah, you might have to wear it, huh? Oh, and we were looking at this a minute ago, but just a reminder. The Braves are 3rd in strikeouts to righties this season at 29%. And then switch it around. The Diamondbacks are 6th best in strikeouts to lefties. So the matchup certainly favors Gallen. I don't know what to do here, dude. It's gonna be 4 corners. We'll put it that way. Little scumdacker spot. Gallen throws a lot of fastball. Only 3 guys on the Braves lineup plus ratings against the fastball since the beginning of last year. A lot of curveball, a little bit rockier down the stretch, and a little bit better against the changeup. I think I go Gallen 1 based on the matchup, the likelihood of him staying out there a little bit longer in a top 3 strikeout matchup. Then we go, I think we got to put the 30% K pitcher there. Then we go D-backs. Then we go Braves. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to give Gallon a point towards a QS. I can't do it for sale. Not now. I got to fix this. I don't know what I did wrong here. This looks right, but this looks wrong. AC2. Yeah, it's gonna bug me, but I'll definitely fix it when the stream's over. And do we want to boost weather here? Honestly, yeah, I think we do. I'll give it a 1 on the weather grade. Roof open, Chase Field, 80 degrees. Do it. All right, next game, White Sox and the Athletics. White Sox with a 3.6 run total. The Athletics with a 5.7, rivaling some of the top guys on the top teams on the slate so far. So they're going to be pretty popular. Starting with the White Sox side, we got Sean Burke on the mound, a 14.7% K rate for him this season, 17% barrel rate. The swing and strike rate is not far from where it was last year, but the putouts are. And I'm not sure what to think of that. Last year was less than 20 innings of sample size. This year it's over 20 innings of sample size. So I don't know. He is the long reliever here behind Tyler Gilbert. So this is just going to be... It's going to be an opener bullpen game. I don't know. I'm just going to go with the Athletics and bet on talent here. We're not playing Burke. I'm going to put him in the spreadsheet. 15% K rate. Walk rate. I'm going to put him at basically a 10%. And then Severino, I'm not a giant believer in him. I've been talking about his luck to start the season, and then his diminished K numbers and his swing and strike rate. This is unstoppable force, a movable object of suck. Severino versus the White Sox. Which side gives? So far this season, I've been leaning towards the pitcher more often than not. But they do get the benefit of Sutter Health Park, which today I did go and adjust some numbers to look a little bit more like this year. Now I haven't. So for instance, the righty offensive factor was like 140. I don't think that's true. So I tacked it down to 120. But yeah. I guess what I'm saying is White Sox have the benefit of the ballpark and a hittable pitcher and a bullpen that, other than Mason Miller, looks hittable. That's going to be an annoying coin flip. But we know the Athletics are going to be the top of our interest here. We can't really overthink the matchup with the opener, and then you might get 1.5 implied at bats versus Burke. So you're just kind of banking on this White Sox bullpen to be overall bad. And the thing with bullpen games is, instead of needing one guy to be good, you need 5 guys to be good, sometimes more, and that's just like usually not likely. You're likely not going to get one of their closers in Jordan Leisure, who has one of the best ERAs on the team. He's pitched in back-to-back days, so just pretty sure he's not going to pitch today. And also, Isert, who isn't that good. But you do get 230% K rate guys out of the way. And then Tyler Gilbert has the second highest ERA in the pen. Does have a good K rate, but most bullpen guys are going to be about 30% K rate because they're coming in being able to unload. Gilbert is a lefty. Maybe that shakes up the top of the lineup, but I think we saw them start Lawrence Butler against a lefty, and then it's just a plus for Brent Rooker and so on and so forth. So I think it's a plus spot overall, even into the bullpen, or especially into the bullpen for the Athletics. I don't know what to do with Severino here. Let's go Sean Burke. We did his numbers. Sevy, I'm gonna give him what we got as far as strikeouts. We're gonna go, I'll give him the 18%, not 187. And for walk rate, I'll give him 8%. And then on outs, they got him at 18, which seems a little bullish. And that's what the Vegas line is. And then for Burke, who, no matter what, Burke doesn't look like he won't be eligible for the quality start, but he could steal a win on like 3 innings, but he's just not good enough for me to want to get that sneaky. How many outs do I give him? 3 to 5. I think I'm gonna give him 14 just to get a projection going. And Sevy at 18 outs is a little bit on the insane side, but it's the White Sox. We looking any better lately, Sevy? 4.92 xFIP against Milwaukee, 2.74 in revenge game against the Mets. That was his best underlying xFIP. Everything else is rough. And what about swing and strike? I mean, it's looking pretty rough. And for pitch type, sinkers is kind of a contact pitch anyway. Slider, man, if you're gonna throw slider 1 and 3 and not miss bats, like that's the pitch that's really dangerous to mess up. It's the White Sox gun. I know. What's this slider looking like? It doesn't use. He hasn't been using it that much actually. Sweeper, sinker. I guess that sweeper is what's being called a slider on that Fangraphs tab. Cutter has the most whiff. The expected slug on the sinker and the sweeper is respectable. So you might turn into a pitcher that is just a contact guy by design, and that may not be the worst thing in the world. His 4-seamer and cutter are getting beat up. Usually you have to lean on your fastball one, but his fastball, sinker, sweeper have been pretty evenly distributed. And then he'll lean into a cutter. It looks like where he gets got is more than likely will be his fastball. Our ground ball rate looking like Sevy. Getting ground balls to the lefties over 43% last 2 years, but the line drive rate's elevated. And so is the home run per 9. There's a lot of lefties in his projected White Sox. They all suck, but Benintendi would be the one. Ew. Former Yankee great. Drop Austin Wells, Francisco Alvarez, or Augustine Ramirez. Man, all 3 of those guys have enough. Depending on your league, Tim, and what other people value these prospects like Augustine Ramirez, I would rather trade that into something than drop it. But yeah, having 3 catchers, everyday catchers in season long, kind of a bad spot to be. If I had to drop one, it's probably Ramirez, right? The Marlins are just going to be day-to-day a low-scoring offense, so he's just going to get what he gets and not a lot of implied RBIs or runs, but he's good. So probably him. The bullpen mostly lefty or righty for the Sox. For the White Sox today, we're not going to get these two. So we got one lefty, two lefties. It's about split. Probably three lefties that are available, three righties available. None of them seem especially dangerous. Yeah, so the first day that Kurtz started, or that he got called up, they said they wouldn't platoon him, but that he wasn't playing that first night just to get acclimated, like sit in the bullpen or sit in the dugout and be present in the moment. So I guess tonight we'll see if that's the case, but they did specifically say he wouldn't be platooned as an answer to why he wasn't in the lineup on the day he got called up. We'll see. Because Nick Kurtz is going to be an everyday player based on his minor league pedigree. I guess I don't know what to do with Sevy. Here, what up, Earth to Air? Yeah, no, I know. Maybe his family just wasn't in town. I don't know. They sure to get in town the next day. For sure, Athletics. Severino looks like he'll bleed, but he won't. Maybe won't break. Just an 8K. Are we surprised if Severino comes out with a solid game? Probably not. Based on 18 outs, the spreadsheet gives me 6.25 strikeouts, which is like the most of any pitcher so far, and I just can't. I just can't, bro. This White Sox team is breaking things, dude. The White Sox suck, dude. I guess I just have to go with the numbers. I'm gonna type Severino and hope for the best. All right, Earth. Hope you have a good shift, brother. Appreciate everybody hanging out. 60 plus in the Cadillac. If you guys do me a favor, hit that like button while you're lurking. You can be part of the chat if you want. If you guys see on the screen today only, I wanted to do some type of promo, and the system was like pushing back on me editing the week pass and the month pass because those are reoccurring stuff, and it's just like it'll jack up all these people that already have stuff. And I was like, all right, well, the season pass is one time, so I was able to discount that. So if you guys want to take advantage of a good deal, $150 gets you in for the rest of the season, and you see the work that we put in day to day, game by game. We're sweeping, we're looking in between the cracks, we're trying to figure out all the leans, all the likes, and on top of the spreadsheet you get access to the MLB Grind Discord. Go to MLBGrind.com, click premium memberships, and then choose what you want. And then if you get something, if you do happen to just try the week pass and you don't love it, I won't cry, I won't take it personal. Just make sure you do let me know that you need to cancel the sub, and I'll cancel it. The system's been kind of, I guess, tricky. I need to build out a page to where it's a little bit more user friendly to do that. But I'm new to all this webmastering and all that stuff in one. But yeah, take advantage of the season pass. We'd love to have you. Hunker down. Today we did a whole lot of adding to the spreadsheet. We added the bullpen information to the spreadsheet. We added spreadsheet probability for homers and what the spreadsheet says would be good odds, like good value odds for those homers. And then of course we're still wanting to do something like this for like general hitter stats to take advantage of. And of course the Athletics are just all over the top of this bomb detector based on Burke, based on the ballpark. The bomb detector, we also added a few more things to weight, bits of information to weight, including the bullpen info, which isn't weighted that high because bullpens are a little bit volatile and predictive value, but it also added weather boost as well. So you'll start seeing a little bit more on the fours, which is our magic number, but to offset the fours and understand what does that 4 mean, the probability will be there as well. All at MLBgrind.com. Let's go next game here. Pirates and the Dodgers. Paul Skeens taking on Yoshi Yamamoto. I mean, this is pitchers for guys who like pitchers. Pirates have a 2.9 run total. The Dodgers a 4.3, and that's about as low as you'll get the Dodgers at home. We'll start from the top. Yamamoto. Don't have to dig too much to know that this guy's been good. He is good. He's going to be good. 35% K rate so far this season. Last year, 28%. Just pristine whip, pristine numbers. Has allowed some homers to righties. McCutcheon, like, what are we doing? It's O'Neal Cruz and the Sunshine Gang right now. And that's what I got. O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, your best two in WRC plus since the beginning of last year for the Pirates. So yeah, Yamamoto definitely up there. He's got to be up there with Gilbert, I would imagine now, in ownership and matchup. He's a 219 favorite as well. So that's a good 1-2 for your pitching combo. And then Skeens feels like his results are not quite in line with his metrics here, and maybe it's a little bit of a defense letting him down. You look at the end column here on DraftKings, the fantasy points column, only a couple of games you really like at 10K, and really just one you really like at 10K, but the strikeout ability we know is there, and he's been keeping the balls on the ground, so might be a little bit in the unlucky category. I'll go pull up his game log. .374 xFIP against Cleveland, highest of the season. Usually sitting around 2. Even though some games don't match up. So, for instance, the St. Louis game, 5 earned runs in that St. Louis game. And that was like his second best xFIP of the season. That kind of tells me there might have been some issues by his defense, or he just got really unlucky at 333 BABIP. So I'm not going to hit the panic button on him because of a few bad results, because the under the hood stuff looks good, but it is the Dodgers, and that's not what you want. But I do want one side of this, right? So I think this becomes a 3-sided coin, and I still think Skeens is in the mix here. Do I like Skeens more than the Dodgers big 3? I don't think I do. I'm gonna go Dodgers and then Paul Skeens, and then backing up Paul Skeens. It's actually a bullpen that hasn't been that bad in homers or whip. A little bit elevated in the ERA, but the ERA is probably the least important number to me. Almost in general. So you could easily swap that out. I think I'm just giving Dodgers a lot of respect. But I definitely have Yamamoto 1. So let's put in a projection here. Skeens, we'll give him that 25. Yamamoto, I'm gonna stick him at 30, meet in the middle. Walk right here. 3.5. Yamamoto 7. Yep. And then we'll go check out the outs. We're gonna give Yamamoto. Both of them are getting juice on the over here, so this I might let Vegas push Skeens above the Dodgers for me. Go 18 and 18. I'm gonna give Yamamoto 3 towards a QS. I'm gonna give Skeensy 1. I really don't want to give Severino 1, but I feel like I should. I will. All right, let's do that. Let's go Skeens over Dodgers, but you just can't not be interested in those guys. Of course, it's Skeens over Dodgers for Jake. Self-deprecating. Let's ask to nuke the site on the main slate even better. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you on that. Like, you put Skeens at 10K sitting next to Gilbert, Yamamoto. Like, he's always number 3 on that totem pole. Pre-flop. After Edmund. Hey, man, that's still over half the lineup, though. I would take Skeens deep. I'm just saying. Don't know. All right, last game tonight. Rangers and the Giants. Dude, we really don't have lineups. Usually by this point, I'm like, oh, we do. They just, I wasn't getting updated. But we don't really have that many lineups, though. All right. Rangers and the Giants. 3.8 run total for the Rangers. Giants at a 3.9. Eovaldi on the bump for the Rangers. A 26% K rate on the season, 14% swing and strike rate. Ooh, an incredible whip and a 2.5 Sierra, 4 expected ERA. All that really, really respectable numbers. The blemishes is here. Power to lefties. Line drive rate to lefties. Yastrzemski. That's a guy that could take advantage of that. But I do think this is a good spot for Eovaldi in general to maybe fall in the shadows of the Gilberts and the Yamamotos. And he does have some upside. You saw at Cincinnati over 40 fantasy points and a Maddox. Now, that's probably as outlier as it'll get as far as one-off, CG, SO type stuff. But 30-plus fantasy points, I think, is not outside the realm of possibility at 9,200. It is a tougher offense than Cincy day to day, but it is a plus park, probably the best park he's pitched in, or it has to be the best park he's pitched in this season. And we know he has a pitch count that'll get you there, 90, 99. So I do think he's a strong shot at 6+ innings. And they're giving us juice. They're basically giving us 18 outs for him. So while I do respect the Giants offense, don't get that twisted. I think Eovaldi has the stuff in the park with a matchup that can strike out. Jung-Ho Lee and Wilmer Flores, the two guys that don't strike out under 20% against righties since the beginning of last year, but everybody else certainly can generate strikeouts. So we got a 22.4% aggregate since the beginning of last year, but there's a lot of green in between. So it is not a give-me matchup like, say, a Logan Gilbert has. A lot of WRC pluses, a lot of high walk rates too. But I do think in this bubble, he's my favorite fantasy option. And then Verlander just hasn't been that guy pal. A 1.5 whip, a 21% K rate for him. Even though he has a 13% swing and strike rate, puts a lot of Ranger one-offs in consideration. Again, thinking in the grand scheme of the big slate, especially looking at how decent both bullpens are, other than the Rangers bullpen ERA. You just feel like it's not a 10-15 run spot for either team. So I think we go cherry picking here and we look at Eovaldi. If I wanted to pick on Verlander, it's with righty. Wyatt Langford, we've seen a couple of bombs out of him lately. Maybe Adolis Garcia can neutralize this K rate and tap into it, but it's still, like I said, a tough park and not a give me. So Verlander could muscle through 5-6 innings. Unremarkable results likely with his K rate being so diminished. He is $7,300. Does get that park, but I think I'm leaning more towards the Rangers making him not the nuts. So I'll just take Eovaldi and I'll cherry pick the rest. And because of that, let's go put a projection here. Let's go 26 on Eovaldi, go 20 on Verlander. Walk rate 2%. And Verlander 9.5%. For Eovaldi, we'll give him the 18, right? He's implied. Big juice on the over, yep. Verlander Verlander's implied heavily for the 18 as well. Dang, dude. Six, 5.2, 5.2. This has to be the ugliest game log for 5.2. 0.2 fantasy points. Yikes. But I guess the last against the Angels, right? 6 innings, 1 earney, 21 fantasy points. I mean, that's like, it feels like the best case scenario on 6 strikeouts, like a strikeout per inning for 20 fantasy points. You would take that at 7,300, but it feels like that's as good as it gets. And because of that, like, I don't want to prioritize that on this slate. I think on the night slate it makes a little bit of sense. And we've already talked about how the Angels strike out the most against righties. So it was essentially the best matchup, or the second most against righties. And Texas, they don't have Corey Seager for sure. But this season, Texas has been bottom half in K rate. So he had a lot of things going for him in that Angels game. I'm going to put him back at 17.5. I will give Eovaldi 2 towards a QS. And that is our projections. Rooting for Berger to get option. Hello, we have some self-hating fans in the chat. Hey, I'm with y'all. I'm wake up daily praying on Marcus Stroman's downfall. I'm a hater. All right, let's get our stack rating going. Actually already set up. We got some 6s. We haven't had 6s in a while, but I think we're gonna see a few more 6s now since we got since I adjusted the bomb detector a little bit. Take out the early games. So our stack rating likes Athletics, Yankees, Dodgers, Boston, Minnesota, Cincy, Seattle. I think Dodgers is because stack rating does go heavily off of WRC pluses, and you got almost 400 out of 3 players. That's what we got there. Let me pull up the main slate future projections. Get that going. Take out Young, AC, Sanga, Irvin. Let's fix this column. All right, no surprise. Logan Gilbert, Yamamoto come out top 2. Then Michael King and freaking Severino, man. He comes out a 6 1/4 on the strikeouts because of the matchup. And I don't know what to do here. He's got 5 Ks. Bruh. What's the Vegas line on his strikeouts? Like, I can't make the White Sox better. Just like, I don't know how to normalize the numbers here. He got bet down to 5. I just don't, how are you gonna, I mean, I guess the issue the projection's having is you're essentially telling me, this is from Vegas, you're essentially telling me Severino is gonna go 6 innings versus the White Sox and not be a strikeout per inning against the White Sox. And it's just like, the spreadsheet's like, that's kind of impossible with the bottom half of this lineup being so strikeout prone. So that's going to be the bane of my existence tonight, is when he had 1 strikeout in 8 innings against Milwaukee. But 6 in 3 of 5. It's the White Sox, dude. I just gotta let it go. Whatever happens, happens. Didn't the D-backs murder Sale both times last year? Did they? It wouldn't shock me. They're just good. All right, we do have some lineups coming out. We can go confirm a couple. Especially that Yankee Stadium game. Reminder, that Cleveland and Boston game. Got some weather. Messing with it. We don't have this Orioles game yet? Well, the Orioles and Tigers waiting on. I guess that game has some weather. What did Mr. Roth say on that? Do I still have that tab open? I do, right here. Orange. Miles is correct. This game's probably a wash, but the rain isn't so widespread. Okay, so let's throw some orange. Dangerous weather via Kevin Roth is right up. We'll link him. Gotta give credit. So that game might, because no lineups are out, that game might just be expected to not run. If that game doesn't run, that 2-game slate just gets smacked, right? And then it's really just props. Nat lineup is out. Abrams, Wood, Nate Lowe, Herbert Ruiz, Luis Garcia Jr., Jacob Young. And we can take that other game out of the bomb detector if it does get washed. We do got a Blue Jays and Yankees lineup. Blue Jays, Bo, Bichette, Vladdy, Santander, Springer, Jimenez, Kirk, Ernie Clement. Oh, that's the guy you were looking for a little home run prop on, huh? Nathan Lukes. All right, so let's see what the bomb detector would say on Ernie Clement. Bomb detector says 632 at a 16% chance. That's actually really good. So 632 would be fair odds, and you probably get better odds. Like those type of guys, I think, are gonna be where the bomb detector, these new spreadsheet probabilities will be most valuable, because the books are screwing you on the Judges and the Otanis of the world. Let's see. Home runs. It's a Clement. They do offer them at 700. So via the spreadsheet, you're actually getting value based on the spreadsheet saying 632 would be fair odds. So you're getting 70 points there. And if you guys are subscribers, I just added this morning. I wrote this out. So yeah, Clement might not be a bad look there, Cruz. Oh, they just got postponed? All right. Well, that's good. Yankees. Trent Grisham leading off. Aaron Judge. I kind of don't know how I feel about this. Ben Rice is so good, and you feel like it's not because of Judge, but I guess that's not making him Superman. So they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle here with Trent Grisham, I guess. And Trent actually looked good in the bomb detector too. That's interesting. That makes that lineup more fun, if nothing else. Red Sox and Guardians lineups came out. Let's see what that looks like. Braggy, Story, Abreu, Campbell, Casas, Carlos Sedan, Rafaela, Carlos Narvaez. Quan, Jones, J. Ram, Manzardo, Santana, Bo Naylor, Gabriel Arias, Daniel Schneeman, Angel Martinez. Remember, this game just might not happen either. If it does, it might be. It's gonna be ugly. Twins lineup came out. We were definitely interested in the Twins. Julian, Buxton, Eschel, Larnack, Correa, Jeffers, batting 6. Ty France, Brooks Lee. Dude, you remember when Ty France was going nuts up in Seattle? What happened to that version? Cardinals lineup is out. Newt Bar, Contreras, Donovan, Arenado, Gorman. Back-to-back Nolans. That booked. Rockies lineup is out. Get a little cores. Sean Bouchard batting second. Dale Amador, Aaron Shunk. And that's it. That's everything for confirmed lineups. All right, chat. If you got anything else, throw it in chat. I think we did a pretty bang-up job researching this one out. At this point, we're just waiting on lineups. So if that game got postponed, that's just gonna completely get rid of this early slate, yeah. I take it out of bomb detector consideration. MLB news. Orioles Tigers postponed. All right, let's go red, and let's just take them all out. Post. They got Post Malone. So that does that. I mean, that cancels that early slate. Then let's do that. Let's go to the pitch report and hide that game. All right, tomorrow I believe is an early schedule. I'm gonna assume that I'll be back tonight, but like I said, I did get some family news earlier this stream. Might take my attention for tonight. We'll see. I'll try to get back tonight though. And if I can, it'll be somewhere between 10 and 11 tonight, my time, so 11 and 12 Eastern. To look at tomorrow's offering. Same thing with Sunday. So otherwise, I'll be around in Discord working on some prop cards and trying to make this a fun Friday night of baseball. Appreciate everybody hanging out. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up, double check, make sure you're subscribed. Go take advantage of that season pass at MLBgrind.com, twitter.com/Gundacker. If you got anything else for me, I appreciate you. Tell somebody you love them. I love you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.